Yo guys, welcome to the Blue Podcast with me, Tom, and Ben. How you doing, mate?
Good, thanks.
So this is when you see this will be the second podcast I've hosted since I'm back from America. Hopefully you guys enjoyed International Shades of Fitness, which kind of as we're recording this on the Wednesday, this will come out on the Thursday. But this should obviously come out in 2 hours' time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed something very different to what we normally do. Obviously, you now have the Blue Podcast. I don't know about the Purple Show, the Gradient Show for sure, and then obviously International Shades of Fitness. So we're doing a podcast on the start of the Premier League. It's been different or interesting.
It's been
Like in the top three are Arsenal and Leeds, and I know it's only 3 games in.
Yeah. No, I guess in some ways it has been different, but in other ways the same. But also, like you say, in some it has been either way. It's been interesting.
Yeah. The right word is definitely interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
You happy with your start?
Yeah. No, it's. I mean, like you say, in some ways it has been different because there's been a few like the shock results that you do get in a season, but you don't usually get this early. So in that sense, it's the same, but it's different because it's come this early in the season, which doesn't usually happen. But yeah, I guess everything's happening earlier because it started earlier, and because of the World Cup, so everything's happening a bit earlier. Maybe I don't know, but yeah, it's interesting.
You happy with your start to the season?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, drew with Newcastle, which I mean, Newcastle are going to be a force. Not saying they're going to like win the league or anything, but they are going to be a difficult team for everyone to play against this season. That they're becoming a good a difficult team to play against. So yeah, obviously at 3-1 down, you take a draw, 3-3 draw. But with the chances we had in the game, you sort of thinking we could have maybe snuck a winner. But like say with us being 3-1 down, I'd take a draw. But yeah, and obviously we won against Bournemouth and West Ham, which is nice. But yeah, there's obviously still in that sort of that transitional period of sort of Haaland getting used to us and us getting used to Haaland. All that sort of getting used to each other period. That sort of I don't know that when you're starting to get that bit of synergy sort of thing.
Well, on that, obviously Foden has now not squared the ball 2 games in a row to Haaland and not scored.
Yeah, it's got to come soon. That because if that opportunity keeps on coming and he keeps on not passing it, there's something not quite right there. Something not, something wrong there. But obviously the first few games of the season you can put it down to sort of getting used to each other, like that. Like say Haaland getting used to him and him getting used to Haaland. But if it carries on, then something, it's something odd, something not something weird going on. But like I say, it's early, so you can put it down to that at the moment. But I mean, saying that, Haaland still scored 3 goals, so it's nice that he's scoring goals, even though he's still sort of finding his feet and getting his form, sort of thing. So
he's looking good. He is looking good.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. He's scoring goals. Well, like I say, he scored 3 goals, which I mean, it's not loads, but it's I mean, obviously it's early in it, but and he did miss it. And that's with him missing a few chances as well. But I think, like I say, with it being this early, we sort of put that down to sort of him finding his feet and you like say, sort of getting his form, getting used to it, sort of settling in, sort of thing. But yeah, it's been good.
Speaking on the whole City striker thing, obviously Jesus has now gone to Arsenal, and he's not doing too badly, is he?
No. He's like, I mean, everyone knew he was a good player. Um, it's just, I mean, it's interesting because whenever we played him striker, it never worked. It just he didn't score. Like, I mean, he scored, but he would miss so many chances. He had the finishing of a winger. And obviously he's gone to Arsenal, but I guess maybe a little bit of it is he's got more confidence because he is very much the main man. Like the one who's got the confidence in him and has put his faith in him and has really sort of backed him. Which I mean, I don't think it necessarily didn't happen at City, but whenever they tried him at striker, it didn't work. So it's a bit odd. But also, like I say, everyone knew he was a good player, and I did see something that, I mean, this is not to be like Russ, we're amazing and Arsenal are crap, because that's not the case.
No.
But I did see something that was saying like, Jesus is looking so good in the Arsenal team because the Arsenal team, not that it's bad, but isn't as good as City's team.
Yeah.
So a player of his quality is obviously bound to look better in that team, because obviously him in City's team, there's so many good players. I'm not saying they're good for Arsenal, but there's so many good players. He's going to, he's just part of the squad, a bit like Zinchenko. But like I say, that in spite of that, he obviously has been fantastic, and he's playing, scoring goals and playing, playing really well, and doing really well for them. So
Yeah, no, he's doing good, and obviously Arsenal are top of the league. The only team to have won all 3 games. But I mean, they haven't faced, like, they
No.
played Palace, which is not, again, it's not an easy game. Leicester, who I think this season are going to struggle. And
No,
Bournemouth. It's like
you
the
can
thing
only.
with me is, yes, they haven't played necessarily the hardest teams, but they have then also scored like 3 goals or 4 goals.
Yeah. I mean, you can only play.
That's a big thing for me, because beating a lower league side or a team that's you should be beating, it's better. Like, it's a significant thing to beat them by 3 goals.
Yeah. No, like you say, you can only play who's in front of you. And yeah, that, like you say, they have won quite well, quite comprehensively against these teams. But like you say, I mean, not to say that they're not easy games, but like you say, they're not the top 6. Like like say, Crystal Palace, difficult game for everyone, but they're expected to win. Leicester, like they're I mean, every game is difficult in the Premier League, but Leicester, they've been a bit more inconsistent recently, so they're expected to win. And then I can't remember who they played last.
Bournemouth.
Well, Bournemouth, newly promoted side. Bournemouth, they're expected to win. So but again, like you say, they have won comprehensively in these games, which is a good sign. But it'd just be interesting when they come up against a Chelsea or
Chelsea
or a Spurs. You know what I mean? Like come up against those type of teams. That's when it'll be interesting.
Because Spurs have 1 drawn 1. Like Leeds, I mean, should we talk about Chelsea? Obviously, having faced both of those sides. Not the most ideal start to the season. We all, I think a lot of Chelsea fans think this is a rebuilding stage. Really, we have lost a few key players, and a lot of. Well, I mean, how many attackers are leaving? So what? Werner's gone, Ziyech's going, Hudson-Odoi's going on loan. We've lost Rudiger, Christensen, Alonso.
Yeah, it's a little bit of sort of the residual effects of last season. Is that is, and it's a little, like you say, it is a bit of a transition from that season to this season. I mean, obviously,
There's also poor refereeing, but
I mean, that being said, the squad you have still.
Oh yeah, no.
You would think you would win that game, but but you can't ignore that very much. It does seem to be residual effects from last season, and there is a bit of a transition. Sort of try. Obviously, there's like getting rid of some players, bringing some players in, but also there's a little bit of sort of finding your feet under the new owner finding his feet, that sort of thing. So there is that, and I don't like. I expect Chelsea to come good, and I mean, like that being said, even like you get top four easy, and even then, the matches that you have played, but minus the Leeds match, which I didn't watch, so I don't really know what happened. But
we
you
were
played.
the
You sorry.
we were the better sides in those.
You were the better side. But yeah, but in spite of that Leeds match, you played really well against Spurs. You ground out a result against Everton. Like they're not. Those are good results, good performances. So like I think
Yeah, no, for sure. And the thing with the Leeds game is we didn't even play badly until the Mendy mess up. Like we had good chances. Sterling, I'm going to probably say this a lot this season. Sterling should have scored.
I know it all too well.
Sterling should have scored early on.
He's not a bad player. He isn't a bad player. Like this is why I'm not keen on him going to Chelsea. I would rather him go to Europe, but he's always got that in him. He's a winger. He's not a striker. He's got wingers finishing. He will miss chances. He will score some, but he will miss some like a winger does.
And that's why we're getting Aubameyang.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I've seen a lot of like Fabrizio talking about that. Like, I think Barca want 30 million euros, but Chelsea are not too keen on paying that. So they're trying to.
Well, it's because like we're doing them a favour to an extent because they still can't put Koundé into the squad.
Yeah.
So we're like, well, no, we know that you need to sell Aubameyang.
Yeah, there'll probably be
wants to come to us.
Yeah, there'll probably be a compromise of about 20 million euros or something, or 20 million euros plus 5 million add-ons or something like that. There'll be a compromise.
I think we might be trying to get Alonso into the deal to even further lower the price. But I think it's only worth like 5 million.
Yeah, so maybe 20 million euros, maybe 15 at a push, but I mean, no, it's one of them ones. But like I say, Chelsea, although obviously the Leeds results a bit meh. Like the first couple of games you've been fine, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, the Spurs game, obviously we were by far the better team, and obviously it was a very controversial game, very controversial game, which I don't want to get too much into because I'll just ramble on about it, and I'm sure everyone knows that it happened last week. No one really needs to hear about it now, but yeah, I'm not too worried. And we've got a couple of signings that we know are coming in. Gordon's probably coming in. I'm not sure if the price tag warrants.
Yeah, is it 60 mil or something crazy?
It's probably going to be 60 mil.
Which is,
I was speaking to Theo about it, and he's basically like a Mason Mount 2.0. If you think about how they play, it's like high octane, pressing from the front.
Yeah,
I can understand getting him.
I can understand. I mean, I can understand getting him because he does look a good player.
He fits Thomas Tuchel's bill as well.
But I mean, obviously the transfer fee is a bit like. But
yeah, that
must be the they must be really certain that he is the right player, and Tuchel must really want him, and that's why. So I mean, if Tuchel wants him, fair enough. He
also fits the quota of young players that we're bringing in, like how Todd Bowley actually personally went up to Hudson-Odoi and said, "Do not leave on a permanent. Like there are plans for you in the future. Just go out on loan because I think he's going to buy Leverkusen on loan. Stuff like that. There is a plan for young players, and I think that's why we're bringing him in. But then, there is obviously we are then also buying people who can still push for top 4, top 3, top 2. Currently, like Aubameyang, he's literally probably coming in for a season to score goals. That's literally all we've been brought in for, because that's kind of our issue. Obviously, Kovacic and Kante are out, which is not great. Never is great, because they're probably our starting two midfielders. And together they're phenomenal. And Kante, like, I think our win rate with Kante out the team is so much worse than when he's in the team. Like, drastically worse. So him being out's the main loss, I think. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. This week we got Leicester, which again we should, like, looking at the table, looking at the teams they've played, we should beat them. They've lost the last two games, drew the first game of the season.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. On paper, you should win that. I mean, obviously, you never know in football and in the Premier League, but on paper, you should win that. But yeah, no, it's yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting. Like you say, when you sort of Arsenal come against a Chelsea or a Tottenham, stuff like that. Because like you say, I mean, obviously, City have made the calculation that Arsenal are not the competition. Well, are the competition, but are not the direct competition this season. But with players of Zinchenko's quality and Jesus' quality, they're looking really good. So I don't know if it's a bit of a miscalculation from City there, but I mean, obviously, like, in terms of the squad, like you'd say Chelsea squad and Liverpool squad maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, did you? Okay, yes. Speaking about Liverpool, obviously,
the City squad is better than Arsenal's, but Arsenal are looking, they are looking good. I mean, obviously it's early.
It's very early, and obviously it's very early to say too much about Liverpool. Obviously, they are in 16th, currently, having drawn the first two games and then lost to United, who have also had an absolute howler of a start to the season. I think the United win is just one of those games where United do just turn up. Sometimes they just do, especially if they're in a bad patch. Sometimes it just takes one game for them to be sparked for a few weeks, and then they'll be back to the same old United, maybe.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It is interesting. Casemiro is, I think, a massive signing for them, but he's not a long-term fix.
No. I mean, he's got a few seasons in him, but yeah, I think it's an interesting one because obviously Liverpool have had a stinker start to the season. I'm not really sure why. I really
top 7-year curse.
Well, I know some people have been saying that, but like, I mean, it's still a bit like the squad is there. Like, obviously they lost Mane, but they brought Nunez in. I know they call him Nunez, but it pisses me off when they say Nunez. Just call him Nunez. We're in England. Yeah, so I mean, obviously, like, he's young, so he's not got Mane's experience, and I mean, I don't know if he's got. We don't know if he's got Mane's quality, but he's obviously a half decent player. So, you brought him in, but so the squad is still, half decent. It's still a decent squad. So I don't really know, why they've had a stink start to the season, like where it's come from. I don't know. And obviously with United, like, they've had a stinker first two games and then turn up against Liverpool, which in the past, that is, what United have done. In some matches. It'd be interesting to see how they do against Southampton, to see if they back it up. Because the difference this time is they've got a new manager who's a good manager.
Yeah, for sure. And I thought Rashford looked quite good for the first time in a few seasons.
Yeah. But I mean, and this thing, and obviously, like you say, they're bringing in Casemiro, who's a really good signing for them. So it'd be interesting to see if they, like I say, back up against Southampton, and if they having a good manager and good coach in there has an effect this time, that they can keep it up. And obviously, like you say, like, some of the players looked really good for the first time in ages. And I mean, that might be, like you say, it might just be like because they've turned up for that match and that's what they've done recently, or it might be the start of a little bit of an extended period of doing okay or doing well. We don't know yet, obviously. But I think that, I mean, they obviously played a way that suited those players as well, because they counted, and that is like perfect a perfect way for Rashford to play the counter attacking. It's just that is he thrives off that. Similar to Sancho and other players. That's how they did well under the Solskjaer counter attacking. It's perfect for those players. And obviously, Ten Hag wants to play more passing style of football, but that doesn't mean he won't play that. Counter attacking against the top six. But so that's another thing is sort of when they come up against Southampton, who will sit back, how will they do when they're having to, having most of the possession and passing it around and stuff like that. But obviously, I mean, like I say, they showed on Solskjaer that they can do it against top six with the counter attacking, so they can do that under Ten Hag. But that now they've also got a good manager and a good coach who will get them to play a nice style of play.
Yes,
would be a good mix. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying that it wasn't. Like they say, they played really well, but also it was. I mean, it was counter attacking, which is, like they won't be able to do that all the time, but they will be able to do that against top six, and they will be able to do that against City, and it just kills us off again. Like City, I mean, we've got better at dealing with counter attacks compared to a few seasons ago, but it's still our main weakness.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something to be wary of.
For sure. It is definitely something to be aware of, and it did seem more like a better United back in the day.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if they do try and play that more possession passing style of football against like a Southampton, or they will just stick to the counter attack. But under Ten Hag, I think they will try and play that passing sort of possession based football, passing football.
Quick question for us: who has shocked you at the start of this season?
Who shocked me? You go first.
Fulham, I think, is the main one, and Leeds. Fulham and Leeds are the ones in particular for me. I do want a special mention to Nottingham Forest. I think they've done quite well. But yeah, I mean, Leeds are in third for crying out loud. Like they've won, drawn, won. They beat Wolves. They drew with Southampton, and then they beat us. So it's not a bad run of form, is it?
Yeah, no, they've actually it's flipped what I was thinking in terms of how Leeds were going to do and Forest were going to do. Because I thought at the start of the transfer window, when Forest was signing a couple of players, a few quality players to add to the squad and keeping the core, I thought Forest were going to do quite well. Like they'll come like maybe 10th or something, and I thought Leeds might struggle. But now it's flipped because then not Forest have signed 16 players, which is ridiculous.
I think they had to though because of.
I mean,
they lost a lot of players through.
They lost a lot of players, but 16 players is a lot. It's like that's still a crazy amount. Like I don't think any team needs that many players. Like you've got to have at least a core of however many. So anyway, you know what I mean. But Leeds have done that thing where they've done what I thought Forest were going to do, where they kind of sign a few quality additions to a core, and also they've had that sort of break from break from Bielsa, where they're playing a bit more structured style of football and a bit more structured defensively.
I do want to say in Forest's defence, they lost to Newcastle in the first game of the season, which is at Newcastle, which we're all going to find out this season is bloody hard, for sure. Then they beat West Ham, which I know West Ham aren't doing very well this season, but still a big result. And then they drew to Everton. Like, it's not bad, is it?
It's not bad at all. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. I've got a feeling it might catch up with them at some point. But I don't know. I might be wrong. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like it's one of them ones.
Mm. Yeah, and then also Fulham, obviously, they are on 5 points. Just again, it's not bad who they faced. They drew with Liverpool, which is the big one. They drew with Liverpool, and then drew with Wolves, and then they beat Brentford. Like that's an incredible start to the season. I think Ben's having some technical issues, but yeah, it's a phenomenal start to the season in terms of what they've done. Fact that they come from the Championship to draw with Liverpool is big. Wolves is a big one as well. Like these are good sides. These smaller, I don't want to say smaller, but lower league sides are putting out performances, which is why this season is so interesting. And yeah, I mean, who else is there to talk about? Newcastle, obviously, they drew with City. They've had a good start to the season. Brighton, often I've noticed, have a good start to the season, um, which is fair enough. I mean, they've had who they faced. They've faced. They beat United, decent enough. They drew with Newcastle, which is a very impressive result, and then they beat West Ham. It's not bad at all, is it? It's not bad at all. So hopefully, yeah. I'm just talking about Brighton beating United, drawing with Newcastle, um, and then beating West Ham. It's a very, very good start to the season.
Yeah. I mean, we knew that
They
from
always
last
do it.
season.
They always have a good start to the season.
They continued sort of their trajectory from last season, haven't they? So yeah, no, it's in terms of uh, what was it, shocks of the season. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'd like say Leeds have sort of flipped it because I think they're gonna probably come like around 10th or something. Because, like I say, they have added a few like quality additions to the core and like
To
the
American.
to yeah, I mean Americans, but I mean they're improving over there. I know people it's got a bit of
Bit of stick.
yeah, a bit of stick, a bit of a stereotype, which is I mean it's fair as well, but also a little bit of yeah, it's a bit they take the piss out of it a bit, but they are improving over there, and like the MLS isn't terrible. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's not terrible.
No,
Uh,
and also with the World Cup going to Canada, USA, and Mexico, that's a big factor.
mm,
For
yeah. But I mean, the players have been improving in America for years now. Like there's
sure.
been loads coming through, like Pulisic and was it I mean, there's Stefan, the goalkeeper for us, and stuff like that. Like,
Kenny, um,
I mean, Stefan's a bit questionable at times,
yeah,
but
McKenny, the guy who plays for Dortmund.
yeah,
There's a few. There's a few.
yeah,
David's Canadian.
yeah,
Um, Davies is Canadian.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Now there's a player for what's he called at Dortmund? Rayner.
yeah, that's it. I knew it began with an R.
Yeah, he was he's the son of a former City player as well.
Is it?
Yeah, but yeah, like players like that, they've been improving all the time
Yeah, for sure.
recently.
And they're still young. A lot of them are young. That's the thing,
Yeah.
which is very impressive. Um, so yeah, who's your shocks for the season? You never answered.
I mean, I'd back the same. Leeds, uh, Fulham. I mean, Fulham are an interesting one because it's Marco Silva, isn't it?
Yes.
Because he showed that he was a decent, like a decent manager at, or half decent manager, yeah, a decent manager at Hull, and then but he never really settled anywhere because then he went to Watford and then got unsettled by Everton, and then got sacked, and then went into Everton, never really settled at Everton, then got sacked by them, and then I don't know where he went after that,
I think
and then
on Championship, really.
but yeah, and then obviously he's gone to Fulham and he's settled there, and it shows what happens when you settle at somewhere that you can actually show what you can do, sort of thing, and he's obviously found his feet there, which he hasn't. Hasn't anywhere else or not been able to do anywhere else for one reason or another.
Yeah,
Either like say did well at Hull, but then they got he wasn't quite able to save them, so then he went to Watford, and it looks like it was going all right there, but then got to Everton unsettled him, and then he went to Everton, and Everton's already a bit dodgy, behind the scenes.
yeah,
Um,
we all know that.
yeah, but yeah, he's obviously finally sort of been able to sort of relax somewhere and show what he can do. So yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed the Blue podcast with me hosting finally. Again, there was a little rundown for the season so far. Hope you guys enjoyed. Not sure how many more of these I'll be on because unfortunately I'm in Greece, but we will try. I'll try my best to make myself available. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you're new around here, please do hit the subscribe button. We really appreciate it. It helps us out a lot. Road to 1,000 subs. If you do enjoy the video, leave a like. It actually helps us out so much. Helps to get our videos out there. And check out all of our other shows on the channel. They have their own playlists, etc., etc. And there's lots of stuff to look forward to for the Gradient Show, for International Shades of Fitness, and the Blue Podcast. Cheers.